Macros contain three kinds of parameters: positional parameter, keyword parameter, and a keyword parameter with default value. The first one shown here is a positional parameter example. So if we consider the macro INCR, the prototype statement which contains the name of the macro has three parameters. The first parameter happens to be memory val, the second one INCR underscore val, and third one is register. All three of them are positional parameters. Okay, how do we write, or what is the syntax for positional parameter? We have to write an ampersand followed by the parameter name. Okay, the name of the parameter can be choice of the user. Okay, now these are formal parameters that appear in our prototype statements, and they will be given actual values during expansion. Okay, so a macro call leads to a macro expansion. And how are these formal parameters, which are positional parameter type, given values? They are given based on the order in which the actual parameters appear in our macro call. That is why the name is positional parameter. Okay, the positional parameter means parameters are given values based on the order in which they appear. Okay, or based on how they appear in our macro call. So if you look at this macro call INCR, we see that A appears first, which would mean that memval parameter will take the value of A, INCR val parameter, formal parameter, will take the actual value B, and register will take the value of A register. So when I make this macro call, we will look if we look at the body of code of macro, that is these three lines, move R, add, and move M, which contain positional parameters, are replaced by their actual values which are present in your macro call. And we see that wherever memval appears, A is replaced, wherever INCR val is there, B is written, and wherever register is there, A register is written. Okay, now the second kind of parameter that is there is a keyword parameter. So how do we write a keyword parameter? So if you look at this macro, you will see that INCR underscore M is the name of the macro, and this line is a prototype statement. Okay, now if you look at the first parameter, it happens to be of type keyword because we have written an ampersand followed by the name of the parameter followed by the type or the kind. Okay, and which is represented in the form of equal to. So if there is an equal to associated with a formal parameter, then it is of type keyword parameter. INCR underscore val in this macro is also of type keyword, and also register because of this equal to sign. Okay, now how can we give values to these parameters? First, we have to do it using the macro call, so that would lead to the expansion. So I can first we give the name of the macro of which we want expansion to take place. See, after that we see that memval is equal to A. Okay, so first I have to give the formal parameter name equal to and give the actual value. So I want memval to take the value of A, and we want INCR val to take the value of B, and register equal to A register, meaning that register, the formal parameter register, should take this parameter actual value as A register when this macro call takes place. Okay, so here order is not important, because when I say memval should take the value of A, then the macro processor has to search for memval formal parameter in this prototype statement or in this macro, and will associate memval with the value of A. Okay, and here INCR val will be associated with B. So order is not important here. In keywords, they may appear in any order and still the association would be correct. So that is why if you look at the second macro call where INCR val is equal to B, is written and register is equal to a register followed by memval equal to a, would still give us the same expansion. Okay, here register would take the value or as a register, memval would take the value a, and INCR val would take the value b. Okay, so in keyword parameters, order is not important because association of actual values with formal parameters is done based on the value which is present on the left hand side. So how do we write keyword parameters? We'll have to write an ampersand followed by the name of your parameter followed by this equal to. And how do we associate actual values with them? In our macro call, you have to write the name of the formal parameter, write equal to, and then write the name of your actual value. Okay, so this is the second kind, that is keyword parameter. The third one is default specification. Sometimes we would like to have a parameter to have a default value. That is, in case in the macro call the user has not specified any value, then the default value is taken. Okay, so how do we write default values? Okay, they are written very similar to keyword parameters. Okay, except that a default value will be associated. So if you look at this prototype statement here, INCR underscore D, what do we see? The first one is a keyword parameter because there's an ampersand, name of the parameter followed by equal to symbol. Okay, then INCR val also happens to be a keyword parameter, but the third one, ampersand register equal to, is a keyword parameter but with a default value. So what happens is, in our macro call, when we should associate memval with an actual value, INCR val with an actual value. But even if we don't associate register with a value, then this default, then it is fine because we are going to associate this register with a default value called as a register. Okay, but if we but that does not mean that just because it is a default parameter, a value cannot be passed in the macro call. That is not the case. You can pass a value, in which case this value will be overwritten. That is, the default value will be overwritten. So if you look at these three macro calls, all of them are equivalent to one another. Look at the first one. It says INCR underscore D. It says memval should take the value of A during expansion and INCR val should take the value of B during expansion. No value has been given for register, so during expansion register will take the value of A register. Okay, now in the second one, the second macro call is INCR underscore D, that is INCR underscore val equal to B and mem underscore val equal to here. Here the order is interchanged here, but like I mentioned before, keyword parameters, order is not important because values are associated based on what is appearing on the left hand side of the equal to sign. So it will first search for INCR val and then it will associate B with INCR val, and similarly for memval. And if you look at the third macro call, it shows that INCR val should take the value of B, memval should take the value of A, and register should take the value of B register. So when I'm writing these three lines, wherever register will be there, it will take the value of B register rather than the A register, which was the default value. So these are the three kinds of parameters that can appear in your macro. Okay, now so far we've seen examples where we have only a prototype statement with positional parameters or with keyword parameters. It's not essential that a macro always has to have only positional parameters or only keyword parameters. You can have a combination of both positional parameters as well as keyword parameters. Okay, so in a single macro both parameters can appear. Okay, but the rule is that positional parameters should appear before the keyword parameters. Okay, so if you have a mix of those two kinds of parameters, then positional parameters should appear first. Okay, so if you look at this macro written over here, there is this prototype statement. Okay, macro called as CALC has two positional parameters x and y. It has a default value, that is OP equal to mult, and it has a keyword parameter, that is lab. Here we see this, the parameter can appear in the label part of the statement and it can appear in the opcode part of the statement. So it's an example which shows that parameters need not appear always in the operand specification part of a statement, but can appear as a label also and can appear as an as an opcode also. Okay, so an expansion call of the form cal a comma b, a will be associated with x, b will be associated with y. Since we have not passed any value for op, it will take the default value of mult, and lab will be associated with loop during the expansion call. Okay, now you could have nested macro calls. Nested macro calls is that within a macro another macro call can exist. So model statement may consist of another macro call. Okay, so there are two kinds of macros now. There is an outer macro. Okay, the outer macro here would contain the nested call, and the inner macro is the one that is known as the called macro. And if you have nested macro call, the expansion would take place in a LIFO manner, that is last in first out manner. That means the last macro call to be the last macro call that was made will be expanded first. So if you look at this particular macro over here, the name of the macro is compute, and it has two parameters. Both are positional in nature. The first one is ampersand first, and the second one is ampersand second. The second line over here, which is the body of the macro, move m, is an ordinary statement which represents itself. But if you look at this incri, ampersand first and ampersand second and reg equal to b register, where the first two are positional parameters and third one happens to be a parameter of default value kind. Now this happens to be a macro call. So within this macro called as compute, I have another macro call that has been made. So when during expansion, when we make a macro call to compute, see what will happen. First I will the first line move m is written as it is, but in the second line macro processor realizes that incr underscore I x comma y happens to be a macro call. So this macro call will be handled first. So these three lines will be generated. Suppose this was there in the body of the macro, okay, called as incri. There has to be another macro defined whose name is incr, where you can consider that these three lines were present. So during the expansion of compute x comma y, it would generate the first line move m b register temp as it is, and when it comes across as incri, it will realize that it happens to be a macro call, because it will compare it with the name in a data structure called as macro name table, and what it will do is it will expand this macro first. So three lines would be generated over here, and once it finishes this expansion, then it will go back and start off from where it left off. Okay, so if there are nested macro calls, that is if there is a macro call within another macro which is a nested macro call, then expansion would take place in the form of LIFO manner, that is last in and first out.